welcome back.
You want to do things?
This is Still Whiskey. My name's Rich.
I'm Vince.
I'm Devin.
And today we have Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A124.
Let's get some whiskey going on here.
Let's get some whiskey going on.
Yes.
So today, why don't you tell us about this bottle?
Elijah Craig Barrel Proof A124. A lot of you probably may have heard the controversy. Not really controversy around this. Just
It's controversial.
Controversial.
It's the youngest that they've ever put out. It's one of the lowest. I don't know if it's the lowest.
It is the lowest, but I don't know if it's the youngest.
Yeah. It is the youngest.
So this
And the lowest.
Everything's always been 12 years before.
It's low and it's young.
Yes.
So this is 119 proof.
Yeah.
It is 10 years, 9 months young.
Yep. Still being $80 retail. So like.
Same MSRP.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, we've heard it's definitely not going to hit like C923. Like if you watch that episode, if you haven't, go watch our C923 episode. But like,
It does.
I'm not gonna lie, C923
not going
was
too bad.
off.
yeah, it was
Cheap.
good.
It was one of those Dumb and Dumber moments. You know when you're like, and totally redeem yourself.
Yeah.
That's exactly how.
And
I
all the
felt.
C batches have been that way, right? Like, I mean, we just tried a C919 that I was able to get, and like
Yummy.
it was.
Yeah. Last night. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was super good.
Yeah. A's have kind of been like sometimes they're good, sometimes they're.
Don't put the lid on. I might want some more.
Sharpie. Little
never-
Sharpie.
A little sharpie-ish.
And that's the A's. The A's sometimes get that Sharpie notes. I remember when we did
true last year, wasn't it?
last year's, yeah.
And then the B as well. I'm pretty sure.
B wasn't as much. It worked its way up, but with it being younger, there's higher chances of that. I mean, it's still over 10 years. Like that's the thing. Is we're saying it's younger, 10 years,
Yeah.
still pretty good. It's not the 12 or the 13 for the C.
So here's the problem is when you set a benchmark, you set a standard of 12 years.
Yep.
People are going to complain that it's 10 years and 9
Yep.
months. When in fact, if you had never set that standard, they'd go, it's 10 years old and blah, 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 and they'd be excited about it.
You know-
because if a different distillery came out and said, here's a 9-year-old barrel proof bourbon, we'd all buy it up, right? We'd be like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But because Elijah Craig has set this bar,
Yeah.
that's what makes it controversial.
Can I say something though? I was.
No.
No, you may not.
All right.
Nobody put fence in the corner.
I mean, it's fine. It's like now we're not going to height differences. And,
Yeah. Listen. I was actually expecting to be very disappointed, and I'm not saying that it's as good as like the C. I actually think I'm actually impressed because I was not.
Is that the nose, or you
I
taste
just
it already?
taste
Because your expectations were low.
My expectations were very low, and I actually am like, you know what? This is not the worst.
It's not that hot, but again, it's only 119. But it doesn't smell.
I mean, compared to some of the, like, because the C923 was, I think, 130, this does taste about the same hotness, like, just on the palate. Like, it's not like a major.
But I just started my evening with some boopers, and it was coming in pretty hot. That's the first whiskey I had. So this all of a sudden is very, very, very
I also
palatable.
had some chocolate before this. I shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have had the chocolate.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
So what are you getting on this? A little bit spicy.
Yeah, the baking spices are definitely there.
It's not as nutty as I thought it was going to be.
Really. The Sharpie note dissipates.
Yeah.
Like the Sharpie note disappears.
I agree.
It's not as caramely as like other ones I've had. I don't know, like, you know, like that caramel or like the red or green apple. Like to me, it doesn't have a lot of that.
I get that on the palate. I get that on the nose.
I think it's a little sweeter
Caramel
on the
apple.
nose though.
Yeah.
Like just on the nose, I think it's sweeter than a lot of the Elijah Craigs that I've had before.
Yeah, it definitely has the profile of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Right?
Yep.
Like you get that about the mid. The finish is okay. Right?
It doesn't just disappear, but
It doesn't hold on a long time, but
good mouth coat. Do you know what this reminds me of? Is you know those suckers that my kids would have that are apple and caramel together?
Yeah.
And one is on the outside. What's the outside? Apple.
no,
Yeah, and then caramel on the inside?
Caramel's on the outside.
caramel's on that.
Whatever.
I just had one today.
What are you, 12?
It was It was St. Patrick's Day recently.
I mean,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Also, happy birthday.
Wow.
Yes, happy birthday. Independence Day,
The
right?
one day that I'm not Canadian?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But my mom, she likes sending the kids gifts, and so she has to send me something. So she sent me the caramel apple pops. Good,
Very
it's great.
nice. That's very nice.
Wow.
But I had one today before I came over.
Just be thankful she didn't send you some proper 12 apple. If you haven't seen that episode, go
Oh,
check it out.
Good night.
That's a whole experience right
You
there.
can to experience how bad it is for us.
We will save you $30 if you watch that episode.
Or you should get it, because I think I actually said I liked it.
So yeah, those little, what are they called? What did you call them?
It's caramel apple.
Caramel apple sucker
Suckers, yeah.
deals.
Yeah.
A little bit of that, a little bit nutty,
I don't get that.
but
No caramel apple.
I like it. I like the nose on
It
it.
is not my favorite barrel proof, Elijah Craig barrel proof that I've had.
I've had worse
by
ones.
far.
I've had worse
But I've
ones.
had worse, and I was expecting this to be like, oh man, this is the worst one that I've had,
was
and
it
it's
last
not
year's
that
A?
at all.
Last year's A was worse than this.
I don't think so. I have an A.
From last year?
I don't know if it's last year. I need to look.
There's a little bit of tannic on the back end.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of like bitterness.
Yeah, the
that
bitterness
I'm
is-
not enjoying that part.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out, like, is it, I mean, it's 2 year, like a year and a half difference, right? But there's a reason why they pulled it out when they did.
You know what would
Right?
be
Like, I mean, maybe it was getting more bitter than what
More
they
tannic,
wanted,
yeah.
but like it was
Right,
getting
right,
that.
right,
And
right.
so,
Yeah.
like, that is the one thing I do appreciate that they are doing now, right? That they're being very clear about the age
Yeah.
that it is.
Yeah.
And now they're taking it out where they feel like this is the best of this batch that we can make it
That we can
right
bake.
now.
Yeah.
And so,
So let's talk about grades, but before we do that, we've changed our grading system. Why? Because we wanted to separate the experience of the bottle from the price of the bottle. So
Yeah.
we're going to give 2 grades. We're going to put them up on the screen. You guys will figure it out.
Yeah.
But basically what we're going to do is we're going to give a grade for the value, each of us, and then we're going to give a grade for the just overall experience, your experience drinking this pour. What do you think?
Yeah.
And so each will get a value grade, each will get an experience grade, and we'll see where the chips fall.
yeah. And the big reason for that is because we know we get some bottles at prices that you're not able to get. And so we want to be able to give you still a grade that you
Yep.
can hopefully use if you were to see it at
Yep.
a different price. So,
that part.
Vince, experience grade.
Yeah.
What is your grade on A124?
Again, I expected myself to be very disappointed, and I'm not at all. It doesn't match up to a lot of the other Elijah Craigs for sure,
Okay.
Yeah.
but it is a solid B. I think it's a solid B.
So you would give this a B, which is, wow, it's a great pour.
Yes.
But you're saying, I think I'm hearing you say, you have other Elijah Craigs that are
Yes.
kind of up there as well.
I would give some of them. I would give an A.
Okay.
For
Dev?
sure.
for experience for me, it's gonna be a C.
Really?
I mean, maybe C plus. I'll go like kind of in between because
Yeah.
I mean, I've had other ones that have been other batches. Like I think my favorite 2 or 3 out of the current lineup is C923, C920, and then a C919. Those ones I would put like at an easy A, right?
Easy A.
I would agree.
Yep.
I think there's other ones that fit in between that and this, and so that's why I'm putting it like at a C plus, which is, I mean, it's, I don't know. The fine, I guess, is not really what I'm feeling,
Right.
but it's also not like, wow, it's a great pour. Like,
Yeah, I don't-
it's a good right in the middle.
I would agree. I'm in exactly the same spot. I think it's a good pour. I don't think it's a great pour.
Yeah.
But I also don't think it's meh. I
Yeah.
think it's right between. So C plus,
B minus,
slash
C
B
plus,
minus,
something like that,
whichever. What about value at $80 MSRP? What's your value on this bottle?
B.
So you're a B there as well.
I'm a B there as well. I think it's more than a fair deal.
Okay.
I don't think it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got it for. But
Sure.
I think it's a B.
Yeah, B feels fine. I was thinking like B minus. Like, it's gotten a lot. It's gotten expensive, and so when you have something like the C923, like where that one's like, like that was an A for sure, but like this one's just a. So I'll say B. Like, but it probably is more B minus.
So here's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go C on this, and here's why. But wait a minute. Here's why. Is because I think that this is just this one time.
Yeah, no,
I'm not gonna go
that's
buy
good.
another
Yeah.
bottle of 124.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But there are other barrel proofs that I think are unbelievable value for this exact same price point.
Yeah.
And so for me, this one's a C. on value.
You know what'd be fun is if they came out with, hey, our A is gonna be $70, our B is gonna be 80, and our C is gonna be.
But that's them saying that they know that there's bad bets.
But
So why would anyone buy those?
It's not true. But it's 100% true.
No, I get it.
Own it. Own it. And,
So-
and I would pay more for C than I would for A all day long.
Those are the grades. Still whiskey.
Still whiskey.
Yeah.
I'm drinking it.
I'm
Yeah.
drinking it.
So
I'm gonna get after
like,
it.
comment, subscribe. Thanks for checking it out.
We love
I'm
you.
gonna drink some more of this.
All right.
See you next time.
We're having a good time.
Tell me about